If you're finding that there are lots of pitfalls in your life, you're not feeling effective and maybe not as joyful as you could be, then you're in absolutely the right place because I have the absolutely wonderful Jim Meadows with me today. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Julie.
And he's going to be talking about the habits that he uses to dodge those pitfalls, be effective, and have a joyful life. So, straight over to you.
Thank you, Julie. That's the truth. I mean, I've had pitfalls in my life. I've had many, many decades since learning about some of those pitfalls. And over the course of time, I've come up with what I call the top 10 habits that work well for me. And we're going to share those with you now. Number one, proactively inviting leadership feedback. Let me say that again because this is important. Proactively inviting leadership feedback from everyone. Here's what that looks like. I'm new on a job. I have a boss. I'm reporting to my boss. The boss may say it, the boss might not say it, but I'm going to say it regardless. Boss, I want you to understand I'm going to do the very best I can for you and the company, but I'm not perfect, and I want you to know anytime you need to bring me feedback or correction, I am fully open to that.
I
So that's
love
kind of what's that?
I said, I love that. What
Oh,
buses wouldn't like that? My
I
goodness.
know, I know. But it goes in reverse too. Anytime I've been in a position of leadership, I say to my subordinates, listen, I may be the guy in charge of this department or whatever it is, but Bill, I want you to understand my life is an open book. I value the wisdom and the insights of other people. And sometimes, Bill, you're going to see something in me that I might not see, might not even have a clue. Please bring that to me. My door is always open to your feedback. I always want to improve myself. So that's number one habit. If you do that, you will really, improve the relationship you have with the people you report to and with the people that report to you. So that's number one habit. Number two habit, I always make a point of keeping my online persona current. I mean, come on, especially in this day and age where we've got LinkedIn and Facebook and 27 other online worlds, I just feel what I have out there in the virtual world has to be the same as what people embrace when they see me flesh and blood in person. So I make a point of systematically, periodically going through all of my online platforms, checking the data, checking the story, checking the whatever the resume or the outline is for me, and just make the updates that I need to make and anything fresh and new. So that's number two habit. Number three. Now, this one might be a little bit esoteric for some people, but I want to throw it out because it was a game changer for me. Number three habit is reminding myself that the fundamentals of learning a new subject don't change. Here's what I'm talking about. When I was in high school, this would happen a lot. When I first started going to college, it happened a lot too. I'd see a certain subject, chemistry. Oh, I love chemistry. I'm going to be really good in this class. Then I'd come to another subject, French. Oh man, I've never taken a foreign language before. I'm going to be so bad at this. I kind of did that with different subjects over the early years of my academic career. But you know what? I finally woke up one day and realized, Jim, whether it's French one or chemistry, the fundamentals of what your brain has to do to study and learn a new subject, those fundamentals do not change. Now, yes, there's going to be nuances and different applications and different illustrations and different types of content because of the variations in the two subjects. However, when you think about it on a very basic brain level, even a philosophical level, the fundamentals of what the student has to do to learn the new material never change. Somehow it was an epiphany for me when I realized that early in my college career. And all of a sudden, no matter what the course was, I was getting better grades and doing better. So that's the number three top 10 talent. Number four top 10 talent. This is one of my favorites. It's called top of mind marketing. Top of mind marketing. In 2017, Larry Kendall wrote a fantastic book. The title of the book is Ninja Selling: Subtle Skills, Big Results. And here's what Larry Kendall revealed in the book. I highly recommend the book. It was really great. He said, let's say um, you're a business consultant, and you want to get more clients to help with your business consulting. Well, guess what? When somebody wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I need a business consultant, they don't think of the one who's the biggest. They don't think of the one who's the best. They don't think of the one who has done the most advertising. They don't think of the one that has the highest number of credentials and degrees. They always think of the business consultant that happens to be top of mind. This is fundamental and extremely powerful. And Larry Kendall then spends the balance of that entire book teaching the reader the things they can do to keep top of mind. Now, one of the things I did when I was doing a lot of freelance corporate writing several decades ago, and I had clients all over the USA, I made a point of every couple of months sending a jumbo postcard in the regular mail to all of my clients and all of my prospects. So they got notified, Jim Meadows is here and I can help you with your writing and do this and that for you. Well, guess what? Because I very consistently got that jumbo postcard out every month or two, and it got in their face and they saw my name, I was amazed at the number of times I would get phone calls years later, even, of people saying, I always remembered you because I heard from you on such a regular basis. So just keeping yourself top of mind can be extremely important. Currently, my business is credit card payment processing, and I have a special love for chiropractors. So I have an email campaign to 25,000 chiropractors throughout the USA, and they get a couple emails from me every month. But you know what? 90% of those emails don't say a word about my business. Those emails are loving on the chiropractors, giving them gratitude, letting them know what a great job they're doing as a chiropractor, giving them free resources and tools, no strings attached, getting them connected to key people and organizations. You know what? A couple times a year, they might hear me talk about my credit card payment processing business, but because I've built up this relationship, I'm top of mind, and they call me and reach out to me when they need help with their credit card payment processing. So top of mind marketing is a biggie. Number 5, this is a powerful one. This is what I do with the people I meet. It's a habit. This is what I do with the people I meet. Now, this might come across as sounding very transactional. It's not meant to be. I'm just trying to be very clear with the steps here, okay? I say to myself first, how can I help this person? I'm just looking at who the person is, having a great time meeting them, learning about them and their life and their business. And I'm genuinely saying, hey, what can I do to help Margaret? And I ask her, is there something I can do to help you? Number 2, I look at who are some great people or resources I can connect Margaret to. Hey, Margaret, you need to talk with Sam. He's in such and such a business. I'm going to send you an email and introduce you and Sam together because I just think you need to know who he is. You guys might hit it off real well in some business collaboration and so on. And then number 3, I'm open to how can this person benefit me? Now, maybe they can't right now, but I simply am thinking based on everything I know about the person, maybe there is some way they could help me. And a lot of times they'll come out and say that to me ahead of time before I even get that far. Well, what can I do to help you, Jim? Well, that's great. But even if they don't, I'm just thinking, how could they help me? So if they don't bring it up on their own, I might throw it out and say, by the way, you said you work in Las Vegas, Nevada quite a bit. You know, I've always wanted to learn more about something in Las Vegas. Could you do this for me? Number 6 top 10 habit that works well for me. Now, this is a biggie. Continuous improvement. Continuous improvement. You see, I'm not the kind of person that has the attitude, you get up one day, you learn a new skill, and then that's all you ever do with it and you're done. That's just not the way Jim Meadows has always been or ever will be, because I am really tuned into continuous improvement. I want to be thinking about how I serve the people around me. I want to be thinking about how I can do a better job serving the people around me. I know I'm definitely not perfect. I'm far from it. That's why I need to be looking at anything I can do to be continuously improving myself. Now, what this looks like in my life, it's quite exciting to me and very fulfilling to me. For example, about 25 years ago, I was steeped in corporate America, working in several different roles at AT&T, and they have a tuition reimbursement program. And I said to myself, I've always wanted to get an MBA degree, and now I can maybe do it on the company dime. So, long story short, I just kept that goal in my mind because I knew it was an important and helpful learning experience. It was something that I wanted to do as a part of my continuous development. And eventually, over time, regardless of where I was or what I was doing in corporate America, I did get into an MBA program and completed that. And it was one of the most exciting, challenging, rewarding, fulfilling academic experiences I ever had, because not only was I learning all this cool information about business, but I was finding places where I could, the next day after class, apply what I was learning. So that to me is very powerful. And again, this is all about continuous improvement. Now, sometimes people say, get an MBA, you need it because it's a credential to open doors. I get that. I understand that. But that was never my motivation. A dear friend of mine said to me one day, Jim, why did you get an MBA? And without hesitation, I said, personal development. And he looked right back at me without missing a beat and said, that's the right answer. That's the right answer. And that's what continuous development is all about. It's not that you're necessarily trying to qualify for a certain opportunity or role, although it might come in handy that way. What's ultimately most important is this is something I'm doing for me. So I routinely pause about every 6 months in my life and do a look back over my life. And I ask myself the question, are there new certifications, maybe another degree, maybe another training program you should take to make yourself a more effective servant to the people around me? And I have learned so much since leaving corporate America in 2020 with all of this additional opportunity for networking that all by itself has inspired me. And one of the things I'm actually doing right now is I'm in the preliminary stages of preparing to go into a doctorate in business administration program at the Pennsylvania State University in the USA. Why? Self-development. That's my motivation, continuous improvement. Number 7 among the top 10 habits that work well for me. I drive my food by habit. I drive my food by habit. Here's what I'm talking about. A lot of people eat whatever's put before them without even thinking about it, or whatever's available without even thinking about it. Now, I understand there might be times where you have to do that. However, I tend to be very conscientious about what I eat. I'm thinking about the quality of the food, the nutritional content of the food. I'm thinking about, what am I paying for the food? Is it a good value? And I'm thinking about, am I achieving what I want to achieve and how I manage my physical health, which further supports my mental health and my spiritual health. So my food is very important to me. My wife and I are very focused on nutrition and physical fitness and holistic healing and things like that. Consequently, I'm very, very conscientious about my food. And I have seen so many people that have sadly messed up their lives because they never gave any thought to what they're eating, when the alternatives are really very important and very helpful if we can embrace them. Number 8 among the top 10 habits that have worked well for me. This one I call learning the landscape. learning the landscape. I call these the live or die points or the make or break points when you go into a new environment, whether it's a new company, a new job, a new organization, a new academic program, whatever the new environment is. I've seen that people take one of two different approaches. A lot of people, when they go into a new environment, they sort of don't give a rip about what the ground rules are, or they don't give a lot of thought to it. And I've seen those people kind of self-destruct in that new environment because they didn't slow down, read the landscape, learn the landscape, and figure out what should I do to maximize my probability of success in this new realm. So I've always been the kind of person, even from an early age, if I went into a new academic program, if I went into a new job, if I went into a new club or organization, I was the person who was like observing everything. I wanted to understand what is most important to the leaders in this organization. What is most important to the college professor teaching this important hard class I'm taking? What is most important in this new job I'm in? And whatever it was, I had a way of researching it and finding out what those priorities were. And then I made them my top priorities. And in every case, I was able to hit those priorities, demonstrate that I had them, and that added to and multiplied my success. But if I had just ignored all that, I could have self-sabotaged in a horrible way. Number 9, fitness routines. You know, we only get one body. So we need to do the best job possible, making it last as long as possible. So in terms of fitness routines, I break that down to physical, mental, and spiritual. And that's a whole hour podcast all by itself. We all understand that. But in brief, I work out at least 5 or 6 times a week. I have a good balanced workout program. I challenge myself and I keep myself in good shape physically. Mentally, I am always challenging my thinking. I'm inviting close friends, my wife Kathy, other confidants to speak into my life, because if Jim Meadows is getting off base, and I can get off base sometimes, I depend on these trusted inner circle people to be there to give me feedback that I need to refine and tune up how I'm approaching life mentally. And then spiritually, you know, most people have some kind of a religious or philosophical or spiritual worldview that they live by. I challenge you as I challenge myself. Examine that on a regular basis. Think about how you're doing living up to the ideals of that approach, that worldview. And then finally, number 10, among the top 10 habits that work well for me, number 10, my wife, Kathy. Let me put it this way. Saturday, a few days ago, June 28th, Kathy and I celebrated our 45-year anniversary. And when I say number 10 among the top 10 habits, my wife, Kathy, I'm going to tell you something. I've never stopped dating my wife. So these are, in my humble opinion, the top 10 habits that have worked extremely well for me. I didn't acquire all these instantly coming out of my mother's womb, but over time, with some bumps and grinds and hard drops occasionally, I somehow came to develop these top 10 habits, and I've never regretted it. And I really hope they work well for you too.
Oh my goodness, Jim. I've had a lot of people come on my channel, and that was so inspirational. What I hear is that curiosity that you have for life. You know, like you say, you've really covered all the bases, mind, body, spirit. And those things are so, so important for a really great, healthy, happy life. But, whoever employs you would be so, so blessed to have you in their business because of the integrity. That's what I hear about your habits, that you've honed down these habits so that these are really effective and they really have served you for many, many years. And I have no doubt that even if someone just took one or two of your habits, it's absolutely going to change their life. So thank you so, so much for sharing that. I'm going to put your
Oh,
link below this video so people can check you out. For goodness sake, people, if you've really enjoyed this, which I really, really have, and I'm going to have to listen back, then please share this with someone. Do subscribe, check Jim out, and get in touch because what I love is not only are you really curious and keen to just grow throughout your life? And clearly, you have this wonderful relationship with your wife. My goodness, 45 years. Congratulations. But also the fact that you are a servant leader. It's really, really clear that you have a massive heart and you really, really want to impact the world in all the best of ways. So thank you so, so much, everyone, for watching or listening. And thank you, Jim, so much for sharing.
thank you.